Live, this is 24-hour News 8.
New at 6 o'clock, our Target 8 investigation could lead to charges in the decades-old murder of a Kalamazoo teen.
Carol Ann Cole, she left her home in West Michigan back in 1980. She headed south. A year later, hundreds of miles away, Bossier doe was found in the Louisiana woods.
Now, our investigation is following in her footsteps more than 30 years later and uncovering details police never knew. Information that points straight to the possible killer.
Tonight, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker is live in Louisiana, breaking this story wide open. Ken?
I'm at the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Department where detectives say they're trying to determine if the information that we recovered is enough to charge a man with Carol Ann Cole's murder. Do you think your dad did this?
Yes.
Frances O'Quan was 13 when she and her older brother discovered the body in the woods not far from where they lived with their father, John Chason, and their mom. That was in January 1981. Their dad, she says, had taken them out hunting, something she had never done before, and he told them exactly where to walk.
He stopped and said, okay, will y'all get out? I want y'all to walk this way, and I'm gonna stay on the road and go this way. We weren't too far into the woods when we stumbled upon her.
A fully clothed skeleton, partially covered in leaves. They both screamed. Police say she had been stabbed at least 9 times.
I look back, he's still on the road looking at us.
She is convinced her dad sent them back there to find the body. It's a story that she kept to herself. Here's another part of the story she didn't tell until now. When she saw the photograph of Carol Ann Cole after police identified her last month, she had a flashback. That, she says, was the girl her dad had picked up hitchhiking about a month before the discovery.
I just remember picking her up. I think I was like age of 13. She was on the side of the road. We'd stopped and pick her up. I remember getting in the middle of the truck, her getting in.
Detectives say she didn't tell them about this when they recently interviewed her. After we contacted detectives, they called her back and now say they may have enough to take the case to a grand jury. Now, John Chason already had been identified as a person of interest in this case. He is serving life in prison for stabbing an elderly woman to death in 1997. Now, tonight at 11, how fear and suppressed memories help keep this a secret. Live in Bossier Parish, Louisiana, Ken Kolker, 24-hour News 8.
It's chilling, Ken. It's incredible. These are very tantalizing details. Do you still think that there might be an arrest?
You know, we talked to the detectives just a few minutes ago, actually, and they said this is still very complicated. They plan to call the daughter in very soon to here at the Sheriff's Department to talk with her to get this down on paper, get this new information down on paper. And then they said after that, there's a lot of corroboration to do, a lot of things to check out.
Ken Kolker down to Louisiana Live tonight. Thank you, Ken.
The state has disciplined a well-known TV veterinarian who they accuse of negligence. Dr. Jan Pol's reality TV show on the National Geographic Wild Channel features his practice near Mount Pleasant. And 24-hour News 8 Susan Samples was at the emotional hearing in Lansing today where the state decided Dr. Pol's fate. Susan?
Hi, Sue. The decision to discipline Dr. Pole came despite the passionate support of a couple dozen fans who were in the hearing room today. But in the end, the state cited Dr. Pole for negligence in care. He provided a dog that was hit by a car. Mr. Pigglesworth's surgery was featured on Dr. Pole's show on National Geographic Wild, and an out-of-state vet saw the episode and filed a complaint saying Pole was not wearing protective gear when he operated on that dog. The state also found then that he failed to provide anesthesia and respiratory support during that operation, which again was featured on that very popular show. Mr. Pigglesworth survived and is doing fine. In fact, he was actually here with his owners today at the end of the hearing. Here's what one supporter had to say about today's decision.
They aren't even looking at the fact that the people with the dog, the people that this all started on, are happy. Their dog is happy he's home with them. They're thrilled, and they don't care about that. I just feel like our veterinary world is getting too much into money and not enough about the love of the pet.
My standpoint is the affordable care for animals. Common sense, affordable care. This is how people like these can have pets.
The state placed Dr. Pohl on probation for 1 year and fined him $500. The state also says he has to take continuing education courses, and again, a 1 year probation and $500 fine. The reality TV star didn't have anything to say about what the board did today. Actually, he just said they were doing what they had to do. But he did want to talk about, as you just heard, the importance of kids having pets. He also did not say whether he would appeal. He has not decided. Live in Lansing, Susan Samples, 24-Hour News 8.
All right, thank you, Susan. Now to your forecast. The coldest weather that we've seen in about 3 weeks is headed our way. And yes, it may bring some snow with it. Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen's got the details from the Tracking Center. Hey, Bill.
Well, Brian, we're not done with winter yet. A big slug of Arctic air is on the way. Let's take a look at Storm Track Live and look at the blue out there. Much of this is aloft in our area, not reaching the ground, but expect a few flurries as this cold air continues to pour down right out of the Arctic, right across the Great Lakes and down toward West Michigan. We'll have the better chance for seeing flurries here as we approach daybreak. 36 our present temperature. It is down to freezing. 32 at Big Rapids and Fremont. Temperatures have actually been dropping here this afternoon as the cold air comes in. Pretty stiff wind out there. Wind 16 miles an hour at Grand Rapids and Battle Creek. I think that wind holds up tonight and during the day tomorrow. Here's what we expect temperature-wise. We'll start out in the mid-30s here this evening. We're down to 29 by 11 o'clock with a pretty stiff northwest wind. I think late tonight, temperatures bottom out around 19 or 20. When you wake up tomorrow morning, wind chill temperature will likely be around 10 above. So kids will need a winter coat as they wait for the school bus tomorrow morning. Coming up, we'll take a look at how much snow we could possibly see here Sunday afternoon and Sunday night.
Bill, thank you. A former Grand Rapids Public Schools teacher is accused of shaking students, yelling at them, and even losing track of one of them. 24-Hour News 8's Danny Carlson got her hands on the teacher's personnel report. She joins us live tonight with a story that you'll only see on 8. Danny?
Yeah, you know what, Sue? We got that personnel report through the Freedom of Information Act. Andres Santiago was a new teacher here at Grand Rapids Public Schools, but he did have experience working in the Chicago Public School District. He told me today that he moved back to Grand Rapids to be closer to family, but within 7 months of being hired for the district, he was fired for allegedly assaulting kids. Over the 7 months he was at the district, both teachers and students reported kindergarten teacher Andres Santiago for grabbing and yelling at kids. In December, he allegedly grabbed one student by the arm and moved him back and forth so hard he started to cry. The next day, he allegedly grabbed another student by the coat sleeve and arm and flung him back and forth, quote, like a wet noodle. Later that same day, Santiago allegedly lost track of a student who had been in the bathroom for 20 minutes, only realizing it after a parent came to pick the child up. We tried to talk to Santiago today. We found his mom and had her call him for us. Well, I just wanted to give you every opportunity because, you know, like I said, I mean, the allegations that you shook a kid and yelled at a kid, I mean, they're pretty strong allegations. Santiago wouldn't go on camera or let us record our phone conversation, but denies he ever touched a kid. He says the witnesses against him are lying and says problems began because he started questioning how the district does business. You're saying that the allegations against you are phony and that your due process rights as a part of the union agreement were not followed by the district. Now, Grand Rapids Public Schools declined to comment on this matter, saying that they just don't talk about personnel issues. Another thing Santiago said over the phone was that the GREA, the teachers union, did not represent him well. So I talked to the GREA today. They said they obviously do not defend his alleged actions, but they said that they did try to defend him as much as they could, but they tell me their hands were a little tied since he was not a dues-paying member in good standing. Live in Grand Rapids tonight, Danny Carlson, 24-Hour News 8.
Danny, did Santiago say what he plans to do at this point after the firing?
Yeah, you know what, Sue? He said that this is not over, and he said that he actually does plan to pursue this. He says he does not think that he should have been fired and that people at the district misrepresented themselves in terms of this complaint. So he said he does plan to take this to the next level, so we'll just have to keep track of where it goes from here.
Okay, Danny Carlson reporting live for us tonight. Thanks, Danny.
Still ahead tonight, police in Kentwood look for teenage vandals who they say shot up a bus with a pellet gun.
I pressed 9 and watched them flip over and I hit the 2 ones.
Plus, a man is rescued from the Grand River after his boat capsizes. You'll hear more from the witness coming up. Kentwood police want to talk to 3 teenagers about some pretty serious vandalism with 2 buses and other property.
The incidents happened between Sunday night and last night in the area of 44th and Walma Avenue. And that's where we find 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey live tonight. Joe?
Yeah, Brian, this bus stop in the 2300 block of 44th was hit last night. Things are back to normal here. They replaced all the glass this morning. 2 windows at Crestwood Middle School just down the street were hit as well, although that happened Sunday night. School officials are telling us this afternoon they're not convinced it was part of this overall crime spree, if you will. 2 rapid buses were also hit. One last night about 10:45. Now, we were on the scene when Kentwood police responded. They think the bus, which was headed north on Walma near 44th, was hit with shots from either a pellet or BB gun. The shots took out 2 windows. No one was hurt. But there's a pattern here. Another rapid bus was hit in the same area Tuesday night about 9:40. That incident gave police their best lead.
As the bus driver turned their attention to the 3 subjects that had just exited the bus, they fled on foot off towards the west.
Now, those 3 subjects are described as African American teenagers, 2 boys, 1 girl. If you have any information, you're asked to call Kentwood Police or Silent Observer. Live in Kentwood, Joe LaFurgey, 24-hour News 8.
There is cold weather coming for the weekend, but the 8-day forecast does look up. Storm Team 8 Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen will show us next.
Always tracking, always alerting. This is Storm Team 8.
Well, our Amway Grand Plaza camera showing a cold gray evening here, almost like January. In fact, we could almost fill up Rosa Park Circle and go back to ice skating here over the weekend. Very cold temperatures expected here over the next couple of days. Storm Track Live, we got some snow flurries northwest of Grand Rapids. A few spots picking up some snow flurries now. Oceana, Newaygo, Muskegon County. It's been snowing much of the afternoon lightly from Cadillac up toward the Traverse City area. Just a dusting up there. But don't be surprised if you see a few snowflakes here overnight tonight as this cold Arctic air comes down into our area. For this evening, I think we'll stay mostly cloudy. Our temperature by around 11 o'clock will be down around 29 or 30. Winds hold up out of the northwest to 10 to 15, and that will keep the wind chills down in the teens here much of the night. By early tomorrow morning, that wind chill could be down around 10 above. 36 our present temperature in Grand Rapids, but already down to an even freeze in 32. Fremont and Big Rapids, 31 in Ludington. The cold air is coming. Up in the UP, it's only in the upper teens right now, so that's pretty chilly air coming down. These north-northwest winds are going to continue for tonight, tomorrow, and even into the early part of Saturday. So we'll continue to see the cold air come on down. Of course, the combination of the wind and the temperature reduces the wind chill down to 26 Grand Rapids, 24 at Fremont. I expect, like I said, wind chills could be as cold as 10 above early tomorrow morning. Cold and basically dry weather here expected. There'll be just a few flurries scattered about here tonight and maybe early tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, the sun will come back out and we should be partly to mostly sunny on Saturday, but very cold. A rain-snow mix develops Sunday afternoon. If you see mostly snow with this, you could easily pick up an inch or 2 on the grassy areas. I expect temperatures to be at or a little bit above freezing, so most of that snow will melt as it hits the roads, but certainly it's going to look pretty wintry around here by Sunday evening. We expect the clouds to hold overnight tonight. There will be some occasional flurries in the air from time to time. Nothing too terribly heavy, but indeed the big thing will be the cold coming on down as our temperatures dip into the upper teens by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon the sun comes back out, but we're only sitting at 30 degrees here at mid-afternoon in downtown Grand Rapids. So the 8-day forecast looks like this. Cold day tomorrow at 30. We're only 37 with some sunshine here during the day on Saturday. Sunday, there is that a very good chance. I got it at 80% for rain and snow to develop in the afternoon, continue into the evening. After that, we slowly start to warm up. By the middle of next week, it'll be back up above 50 degrees. That'll feel nice.
Yeah, that'll be a lot better than 30.
And that's average for the 8 days right there. Average high temperatures will be low 50s.
Okay. Bill, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Coming up next, we'll get you updated on the chilling new details about the crash of Germanwings Flight 9525.
Well, it is the question today. What could have prompted that co-pilot of a German jetliner to deliberately lock the pilot out of the cockpit and then fly the plane into a mountain.
Investigators in France are trying to figure that out. A prosecutor says they're focusing on the personal, family, and professional life of co-pilot Andreas Lubitz. He says it's clear from the cockpit voice recorder that his intention was to destroy this plane.
The co-pilot manipulates the buttons of the flight monitoring system to affect the descent of the aircraft. The act of selecting the altitude can only be deliberate.
The prosecutor says Lubitz did not say a word as he manually set the plane on an 8-minute descent into the French mountainside that pulverized the plane and killed all 150 people on board.
New legislation introduced in Lansing would require schools and daycare providers to post their immunization rates online or in their building. Senator Curtis Hertel Jr., a Democrat from East Lansing, says his bills would keep parents better informed about vaccinations after recent outbreaks of whooping cough and measles cases. Michigan has one of the country's highest rates of kindergartners exempted from at least one vaccine for medical, philosophical, or religious reasons. Well, tonight on 24-Hour News 8 at 11, you'll hear reaction from local school officials.
Boy, it was a close call in the Grand River today. A man had to be rescued after his boat capsized near the fish ladder in Grand Rapids. It happened at about 1:30. 3 fishermen in another boat pulled the man out of the water and into shore. We talked to some of the witnesses who saw it all happen.
He got hung up on some rocks, and then he got free from the rocks, and then he went nose first into the dam, and it filled up. And then when it popped back up, it turned sideways and filled right up, flipped him. I seen his head hit the dam, so I didn't know if he was going to get back up once he popped up.
Wow, the man who was rescued was taken to the hospital to be checked out. Witnesses told us his head was bleeding, but authorities say he'll be okay.
Coming up next in sports, we're getting you an all-access pass to the Sweet 16.
We're taking you live to Syracuse, where sports director Jack Doles talked with Spartans coach Tom Izzo.
Tom Izzo's magic madness in March never comes at a better time for the Spartans, and now his MSU team has rallied around that magic and followed him all the way to the Sweet 16. We followed him all the way there as well, and that's where sports director Jack Doles is right now. And Jack, this is a different Spartan team than the one that started the year, and a different Izzo as well.
Depends which Spartan you talk to, Casey. I tell you what, Tom Izzo working his magic again in the month of March. Take a look at some video from today's workout. They shot around at the Kerry Dome. First look for most of these Spartans. 13th trip to the Sweet 16 in the last 18 years. Duke, the only school that has been there more often than MSU. 18 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. Kansas is 26, Duke 20, the only other schools that have a longer streak right now. The all-time record, North Carolina with 27. Lots of reasons for this team's run right now. Free throw shooting has improved. The emergence of freshman guard Tum Tum Naren, the selflessness of Travis Trice. Defense, they're holding their opponents to 31% shooting in the tournament, just 19% from 3. But the number one reason, Mark Hollis told us at 5:50, Tom Izzo.
Oh, to be honest, Coach Izzo has been the same way since I first stepped foot on the campus. Same energy, same enthusiasm, same passion. Somebody would turn the ball over in August or make a bad play, and he would get on him, and he would say, "You'll remember that in the long run. You would know why I got on you." And I think this is what he meant by it. Just so he's been preparing us for March since I came here.
On the lighter side, Tom Izzo hates social media. He tells the guys to put their phones away, stay off Twitter, out of the chat rooms. But even he got a laugh when he had a Denzel Valentine, the meme that has been making the rounds. You may have seen the picture after they won a tournament game. He pranced off the court in joy. Well, that's been they put him on the yellow brick road with Dorothy and the Tin Man, soaring up to heaven through the fields of daisies. We showed that to Coach Izzo, expecting this to be a surprise. But guess what? He's seen it.
I don't look at that stuff very often, but once in a while my secretaries print it out and put it on my door. So if it's in good taste, I swallow it.
Do you have fun with this stuff, like at a team meeting?
Yeah, I do. I hate to give any credit to Twitter that I can possibly not give. So I'll lie and say it came from somewhere else.
Casey, I could see those things coming up when they're showing the players' game film, and then all of a sudden, Denzel shows up on the screen. I'm sure that was some good laughs for the team. But right now, Michigan State loose and appear ready to go for Oklahoma. Live in Syracuse, Jack Doles, 24-hour News 8.
All right, Jack, thanks a lot. That tip Friday night at around 10:07. Well, it's been a storybook year at North Point Christian. Their football team made it to the first ever state semifinals, and today the basketball team punched their first ticket to the school's first ever state title game. Today, the Mustangs in a Breslin battle against Boyne City, the Class C semifinal game. Boyne City out to a hot start. Nice ball movement. Cole Butler topside three. Boyne City, the Ramblers led it 17-8 after one, but North Point Christian outscored them 18-9 in the second quarter. Preston Huckabee, a big reason why. Near corner three tied this game at 26 at the half, and then in the second half, Huckabee to work again. Two of his game high 26 points as the Mustangs headed to the Class C state title game. They win it 48-45. They will now face Flint Beecher Saturday at 4:30. Chance for the first ever state title.
All right.
Exciting. All right. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Casey.
Now, cold air, a few flurries expected here overnight tonight. Could be a dusting. Sunshine for Saturday and light winds. Look for more rain and snow to develop Sunday afternoon. Like I said, it's all snow Sunday afternoon. We could get a couple of inches. Certainly a possibility.
Thanks, Bill.